and now what I'd like to do is do a very special demonstration for you. It's one we got from our Chief Technology Officer in Microsoft Research Labs, and it is basically building on what you've seen here using different real pieces of code we've put together in a presentation. This scenario is really about an individual architect that is now doing kind of in the home. So let me set it up for you. This will be now, right here, this will be my home office, if you will. And it's got full screen walls where I'm able to interact with computing technologies. If you can see up in the corners, I've got cameras and there's a microphone that can detect my voice. And then there'll be some touch screens and surface computing capabilities that allow me to do it. Again, I'm an architect. I'm putting together a pond project. And I'm just going to walk you through a scenario here with some of our technology of how that would work. So I'm going to go ahead and walk into my room. And maybe just like you saw, as I walk in, it's able to sort of recognize that it's Yusuf here, and it pulls up some of my recent information. So for example, this might be the desktop of pictures that I've had. It's got my schedule. It has the time of the day and the weather. And then my screensaver, in this case, may be more of a sort of a window with a nice, beautiful beach scene, even though I don't have a window in my office. And so what you can see here now is we have like a nice full desktop. And then here is a Surface computer, like you've seen, and I can walk up to the Surface computer. And as I walk up, it recognizes that I want to do some computing tasks. And it has a whole information about the conference center. And I can come up and press Pond Project. And when I do, up will come the wall where I'm able to then look at all my information, schedule, model views, and budget. And what I can do is I can now navigate on the desktop. So here there's now immediately comes up a touch control, and I'm able to touch the screen and navigate around. And I can basically have as much space as I'd like. So I'll come down to the corner, and then here, for example, is the Pond project, and I can just touch and expand like you've seen now on various devices, and dive into the details of this particular project. And when I do, some controls will come up. So I can run analyses or simulations. I'll press simulation. And up will come some controls that will allow me to interact with the eco. So for example, I can move a slider bar up and down on this touch screen to change the temperature of the ecosystem. And you can see what the interaction will be like. I can see what happens with the model just by touching that. Now I've got a notification here that there'll be an upcoming meeting. So I remember that I'm going to have a meeting to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move some of this to the side. So I can just reach up and grab the corner of this desk space and slide it down. And down will move, and up will come, for example, the recent interactions I've had. And I can move that up and say bring back the notes on the idea board. And then what you'll see is these are all the notes of things we've been working on. And like you saw in the video from Natal, I can walk up. I can have, for example, let's say an article, a piece of research that I've brought up and bring it up to the board and have it scanned. And then I can just pin that on the board. And there is that document. And I can take out any type of computing device. You can imagine I can take out my phone, a Zune high def. Let's say there's a photo here that I want to put on. This is a photo we took from last night, and I can walk up to the board. I can effectively pinch this and place it on the screen. Okay? And we're able to do that. And so now I have a great amount of information that's on the board, and I can effectively build my own experience here on the board and interact with the touch screen. We can also have digital assistant. So this is DAG. DAG stands for Digital Assistant Guide. And so he can come up at any time to remind me, and I can interact with him. Hey, DAG, what's up?
I have some answers to the question raised at the meeting this morning. Do you want to see them now, or should I just post the information to the project site?
You can just go ahead and post it to the project site. Thanks, DAG.
Done. You also have a meeting with Patricia San Juan in a few minutes.
I don't recall what that means about it. Can you give me a little bit more information so I can be prepared for the meeting?
Of course. Here's some background.
OK, so here's some information about the water usage. But the price estimates look higher than what I recall. Can I get some more background on the price, why the price is so high?
Let me check on that. Here. If we zoom in on this part, we can see that the pricing of some of the upstream dependencies has changed. Would you like me to get Patricia San Juan on the line?
Yeah, that'd be great, Dag. Thanks.
Is there anything else?
No thanks, Dag. I'm all set.
Oh, hi. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Patricia. Let's talk about that pond project.
And now my team has refined 3 of the designs since our last conversation. Here's what we came up with. Now, given what we know from you and the customer, these are the 3 we think would work the best. Number 3 is the one the customer liked the most, but we've come across a small problem. I'm hoping we can talk through some of our ideas on how to make this one work. So let's set aside the other 2 for a second.
Sounds good.
Okay, now here's the problem. The water system the customer was so excited about is in a great spot, and the model shows that it really enhances the existing daylighting system. But the model also indicates that we may come up against some of the regulatory changes that are starting to take hold in some other cities. So, our solution is to use a different water capture system here and here. Okay, now watch the other variables and see if there's anything you're concerned about.
That looks good.
Plus, we get a sourcing incentive since we can get most of the materials right here in town.
It's good for the locals.
So, this way, we keep the aesthetics the customer likes, we're forward compliant with the regs, and we end up saving a bit of money.
Great.
What do you think?
What's not to like?
I think it's going to be great.
I do too.
I can't wait to start construction.
Sounds good. Thanks, Patricia. So you get a sense there of how you can interact with the computer. You can touch screen, you can talk, we can work together on it. I want to sort of close that example by picking up that pond project. And now I can actually simulate viewing that pond project and being immersed inside the experience. Some of the things we're doing now with Bing Maps is the ability to do 3D virtual simulation and bird's eye view. Let me show you how we can do that here on the screen. Hey, Dad, can you please pull up the pond project and display it for me here in 3D?
Right away.
Okay, so here what you see in the foreground is the pond project as we've been assembling it. And now what we do is we have a simulation of what it would look like in the background. So we've been able to take imagery of the background of the city, and now I'm in it. And as I move from side to side, what will happen is the simulation will automatically move. So I can imagine that I'm actually up here on the pond project, and I want to see what the views are like. So if I come way over here, I can see there's a water view, which is nice, from the pond project. And I can effectively walk around immersively in this experience and get a sense of what that will be like. And so with that, I'll go ahead and close that. And I'll come back to the slides to effectively summarize where we've got. But that gives you a sense of where you can go with computing. There are a lot of amazing opportunities in there. And you can see the user experience and the ability to change is going to radically change how people will touch computers. So in spite of that curve I showed you at the beginning of the presentation, as they say, you ain't seen nothing yet. The amount of what we're going to be able to do with technology to change the experience is going to be immense.